John Calvin on Psalm 105, verses 31 through 45. He spake, and there came divers sorts of flies and lice in all their coasts. He gave them hail for rain, and flaming fire in their land. He smote their vines also and their fig trees, and brake the trees of their coasts. He spake, and the locusts came, the caterpillers, and that without number, and did eat up all the herbs in their land, and devoured the fruit of their ground. He smote also all the firstborn in their land, the chief of all their strength. He brought them forth also with silver and gold, and there was not one feeble person among their tribes. Egypt was glad when they departed, for the fear of them fell upon them. He spread a cloud for a covering, and fire to give light in the night. The people asked, and he brought quails, and satisfied them with the bread of heaven. He opened the rock, and the waters gushed out. They ran in the dry places like a river. For he remembered his holy promise, and Abraham his servant. And he brought forth his people with joy, and his chosen with gladness, and gave them the lands of the heathen, and they inherited the labor of the people, that they might observe his statutes and keep his laws. Praise ye the Lord. He spoke, and there came swarms of flies and gnats throughout their country. By the word spoke, the psalmist intimates that the flies and lice came not forth by chance. The command, we know, was uttered by the mouth of Moses, for although God could have given the command himself, he interposed Moses as his herald. God, however, gave no less efficacy to his word when he commanded it to be uttered by a man than if he himself had thundered from heaven. When the minister executes his commission faithfully, by speaking only what God puts into his mouth, the inward power of the Holy Spirit is joined with his outward voice. And he brought them forth with silver and gold. The prophet celebrates the grace of God, which preserved the chosen people untouched and safe from all these plagues. If both parties had been indiscriminately afflicted with them, the hand of God would not have been so signally manifest. But now, when the Israelites, amidst so many calamities, experience an entire exemption from harm, this difference exhibits to us, as in a picture, God's fatherly care about his own people. For he remembered his holy promise. The psalmist again mentions the cause why God dealt so graciously with that people and sustained them so tenderly, namely, that he might fulfill his promise. For he had entered into a covenant with Abraham, engaging to be the God of his seed. Nor did the prophets without cause teach so carefully, as we find them doing, that the free covenant is the fountain whence the deliverance and the continual welfare of the people flowed. Thereby the grace of God became better known, since what took place, so far from happening upon the sudden and without anticipation, was only the fulfillment of what he had promised 400 years before. God, then, for ages previous to this, gave the light of his word of promise, that his grace and truth might be brought the more distinctly into view. God had spoken it to Abraham, but the force of the covenant did not die with him. God continued to show himself faithful towards the posterity of the patriarch.